Yes, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dele Momodu, and I'm reaching you live from Lagos, Nigeria. Yes, Lagos, the heart of Africa. Azuka, I can see you. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Yes, we're just about to have a test run with one of Africa's greatest mathematicians. So we're just about to do a test run. Any moment from now, I'll be joining Dr. Victor OMOLOLU SOWEMIMO OLUNLOYO live from Ibadan. But for now, we're doing a test run. Then at 12 o'clock, the interview proper would begin. So how are you all doing today? It's been raining in Lagos. Is it raining in your part of the world? Yes, I'm waiting to see OLUNLOYO VOS. That is the handle we're using. OLUNLOYO VOS. VOS stands for Victor OMOLOLU SOWEMIMO OLUNLOYO. So I'm waiting for Daddy. If Daddy can hear me, all it takes is to just press the live button on Dele Momodu Ovation. That's my Instagram handle. We'll be going live simultaneously on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And we're reaching the world live from Lagos. Yes. I'm just waiting now to see OLUNLOYO VOS. Oh, Wale Bobosini, you woke up so early in America. Thank you so much for joining us. Nikki Ebony, thank you for joining us from Atlanta. Okay, I think I am seeing a message. I need to make a quick call. Please bear with us. Don't forget that Baba is not an Instagram generation man, but he has done extremely well giving us this opportunity to have a live chat with him. Baba is already 85, and we thank God for his life. I'm trying to see if I can see OLUNLOYO VOS on this platform. Not yet. Please, if you notice OLUNLOYO VOS, kindly alert me. Thank you so much. Yes, we are waiting for Daddy to join me. Hello? Hello? Can I? My daddy, Dele ni sir. Dele ni sir. Dele ló ń sọ̀rọ̀ sir. Benny, Daddy, how are you, sir? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, we are live now, so I just need you to come on the Instagram. They should look for Dele Momodu Ovation and just press the live sign. That's all. Then I will let you in. Okay. So you're online. Can you see Dele Momodu Ovation right now? You will see the live sign. Yes. Once you log in, we will just do a quick test run, take another 5 minutes break, then we go live at 12 noon. Okay. But you will need to, you will need to put off the phone completely when we start so that it doesn't disrupt the chat. Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll be able to do the test run maybe in the next 60 seconds. Thank you so much for your patience. We have all our gadgets ready because this promises to be one of my biggest interviews, one of the biggest interviews of my journalism career. Trust me. I know Daddy very well, and I know that he is an encyclopedia, a walking encyclopedia. So I'm waiting for him to join us, and then we will go live. I'm waiting to see OLUNLOYO VOS. Please, if you see OLUNLOYO VOS, alert me. Ben, can you check if we can get... Okay, I think I can see Daddy's handle now. I hope, if you can hear me, I hope you are not on a laptop because it's saying unable to join. We need a telephone handset, please. We need a phone handset. It's good that we're doing the test run now. Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. Daddy. Ìdọ̀bálẹ̀ ni mo wà sà. Daddy o, mo ń dọ̀bálẹ̀ sà. Mo ń dọ̀bálẹ̀ sà. Ẹ káàárọ̀ sà. Mo júbà àgbà sà. Mo júbà àgbà. Wọ́n léwúrẹ́ tó wọlé tí ò júbà. Òun ló di mímú so àgùntàn tó wọlé tí ò júbà. Òun ló dẹran léyá. Èmi júbà o. How are you, sir? Can we adjust the camera so that we can see Baba's face very well, please?
You can see very well now.
No. We are not seeing Baba very well. Adjust the camera in a way that his head can come higher. We want his head. We want his face to show very well. Yes, it's just to change the camera, and I hope the internet is a bit cloudy. Can we have more light in the room, if possible? If you can draw the curtains, that would be fine. The blinds, the blinds. We need more light. We need more light. Yes, you can draw the blinds. Thank you. We need to see Baba's face very well. I guess I know Baba is in the library. Baba, I learned from Daddy how to stay in the library, but the internet is blurry. My face is showing very well, but this internet is blurry. Can you also try to clean the lens of the camera? That might be the problem. We are speaking to a legend, and we must be able to see him very, very clearly. You don't worry, we have all the time. Please, let's try and clean the camera. Can we clean the camera? I hope.
Let me do that.
Yes, let's try and clean the camera. Okay, please, you can relog in, no problem. Yeah, so let's clean the camera.
Yes, sir.
Then after that, let's reduce the volume of the mic as well. It's cracking and bouncing back. You need a clean towel or tissue to clean the camera. Yes, Baba's face is showing better now, but we need to clean the camera. You can log out and log in again. There is no problem. We still have 5 minutes, and we are absolutely in control, so there is no hurry. We have all the time for Daddy. Thank you. You can log out. It doesn't matter. Feel free so that everything is perfect by the time you come back. Thank you. So please, we are waiting for Daddy to come back. Shubi, King Shubs, you woke up early for Daddy. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. I can see so many people from the United States of America. Wow. Ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Olúnlọ́yọ̀ báyìí ni orúkọ wọn nù. Adúpẹ́. Then I think they should keep some drinks aside for Daddy, so Daddy can have his drink as we go along. I don't know if Daddy still drinks red wine. He taught me how to drink the best red wines in the world. We're going to be talking about all this today. I don't know if Daddy still has time for our delicacies. Daddy is also a culinary expert. If you are looking for the best food in the world and the best drinks, you need to speak to Daddy. So today is a day that every person, whether young or old, should join us, because there is so much to learn from this living legend. So much. You can imagine at 85, Baba is already seated in his library. So who am I not to be in my own library? You can see me. He taught me how to keep books, how to read books. And I'm talking about almost maybe 40 years ago. So I am very privileged to have the opportunity to interview Daddy at 85. This is a very, very, very special occasion for me. Today is July 11. So we're waiting for Daddy to be back, and then we go. Let's see. It's saying unable to join again. I think a wrong button has been touched. please, if you can hear me, check that you have the right setting. Please check. We are going live. A laptop, because now I can see OLUNLOYO VOS, but I'm not able to let you in. So please do it exactly the way it was done before. Thank you so much. I'm still waiting. If you can hear me, please let's have the proper telephone setting like you had it before. It's still saying unable to join. Okay, I think now you have the right button. It is still blurry. I can see Baba, but his face is not showing well. Please.
No. You can't do that.
Junior. No. Junior, no. The other way. Tilt it so that his head is up.
Is it better like this, sir?
Yeah, it's better, but the face, I don't know if it's the internet now. It's still blurry.
So tell them
Still blurry.
info. There's someone going.
You need to open the blinds, please, so that we can see, hopefully see very clearly. I think let me speak to Baba and hear his voice. The voice is very important. Daddy, how are you, sir?
Not bad at all.
Thank you so much. That voice is as strong and powerful as ever.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Praise God.
I am talking to a living legend, the man we all nickname OMOLOLU. We have plenty to talk about, Daddy. OMOLOLU. Okay, Daddy, we have a protocol. So it's now 12 noon, and we will go straight to our music. We will play you a Christian hymn that I loved as a young boy. my dear viewers, good afternoon from Lagos, Nigeria, the heart of Africa. I'm very, very honored, privileged, and delighted to have a living legend join me all the way from Ibadan this afternoon, Dr. Victor OMOLOLU, SOWEMIMO, OLUNLOYO, our daddy, encyclopedia of history, a great, if that's an understatement, mathematician. And today we'll be talking about everything and anything that you can think of. You will discover so many things about Baba, including his love for music, from classical music to, can you believe it, to One Day Cool. Baba likes One Day Cool. Can you believe that? So we'll be talking about his love for good food, for good wine, and for history. Daddy, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Dele.
I will start by asking, I know everybody knows Chief OLUNLOYO, but nobody can describe you better than yourself, Daddy. Who is Chief Dr. Victor OMOLOLU SOWEMIMO OLUNLOYO? Please take your time. There is no hurry, sir. We're absolutely in control of this phone.
Yes, I think I may sabotage you here. I don't think I am capable of describing myself accurately. As Shakespeare said in Julius Caesar, the eye sees not itself, but by reflection. I cannot, my eyes cannot see my eyes.
You still quote William Shakespeare at 85.
Yes, because he's a bard for all times. There are so many plays that one cannot forget. You cannot forget Hamlet, a man who was asked to go and revenge his father's death, and who, instead, philosophizing, to be or not to be, that is the question. Instead of slaying the man who poured poison into his father's ears while sleeping in the garden, and who inherited his mother as a queen. And you can't forget Polonius advising his son Laertes when going to France. You can't forget things like neither a borrower nor a lender be, for loan oft loses both itself and friend. You know, that's Shakespeare all the way along. Or in Tempest, his 37th and last play, full 5, thy father dies. On his bones, of his bones are coral made. Those are pearls that were his eyes. You can't forget all those things. And you can't forget in As You Like It, all the world's stage, and all the women and men merely players. They have their exit and their entrances. Those are immortal things, very immortal.
Do you remember anything from Macbeth?
Oh, Macbeth. Macbeth, there is
Oh, internet.
the when do we three meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain?
Wow.
I see a dagger before my hand, and the lady turn my milk into gold. You can't forget. One cannot
Wow.
forget.
Wow.
Forget Macbeth.
Did you read Romeo and Juliet?
Oh, yes. The Capulet and the Romeo and Juliet also. Othello, Desdemona. Incidentally, Mrs. Emmanuel died recently. She played the part of Desdemona when we were in university.
Wow.
Desdemona. The most evil character of Shakespeare probably is Iago. Yeah. And then you can choose in Julius Caesar the fellow who really was at the center of the plot. Can you remind me of the partner of Brutus? Brutus was a noble man, but they drew him into the plot. And the man who drew him into the plot was he was, I can say, the second most terrible man in Shakespeare. You asked about Macbeth. There is no. That's where Shakespeare said there is no art to find the man's construction on the face. He was a man on whom I put an absolute trust. Thane of Cawdor, Thane of Glamis.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
Scottish man. So I remember all those things very, very well. Government College Ibadan used to have the motto, all the walls are stage. But they changed it after some time. And I see a dagger before my hand. So those are the things we learned at school, which have not escaped from our mind.
Well, I wanted to take you back first to tell us a bit about the history of the OLUNLOYO family in Ibadan.
The OLUNLOYO family has a very interesting story, and they believe they hail from Lysagos. That probably I'm the Lysagos. In 1853, the British missionaries came to Ibadan. They had a test run. They came in 51, looked at the place from Abeokuta, and then went back, and then came to establish in 1853. The Baale of Ibadan then called one of his quarter chiefs, who was OLUNLOYO, to find a place for the missionaries. That's why he got them a place in Kudet. The diary of David Hidra's wife is in my library here. David David was the vicar. Anna was his wife. The church is called St. David's, and Anna is the name given to St. Anne's, the school that was called Kudeti Girls' School. So that they established a church. OLUNLOYO was a chief, a war chief, but I would say he got a lot of victory according to Johnson's History of the Yorubas. he got a lot of victory in Ekiti country. He rounded up, but on his return, the king of Ado laid an ambush between Ise and Emure for him, and he returned to Ibadan with the most of his booty and best fighting men were killed at Ado Ekiti. So then he was the first to send his children to school, OLUNLOYO, and we pride ourselves. We have had one section of the family which has distinguished itself in schooling. The first person to go to school in Ibadan was a woman.
Wow.
And that's Yejide Girls Grammar School is named after her.
Wow.
Second, Dele, OLUNLOYO. There are many Akeles in it. OLUNLOYO. Their first night in the missionary house was very momentous. Yejide ran back to the family house, which is not too far, in her belief that white men eat black people in the night. And I can stay. And so was the story. Is best, you can see it in Venerable Deacon late Banjo. You know, he wrote it in Yoruba. And also, there was an episode.
The internet. Okay.
Two of his children. For them, he sent two of his slaves. So they asked for the relate that they were his slaves. No. They said what they want to teach him, what they want to do is to enhance their education and their knowledge. So he asked, well, what does that mean, education knowledge? So they asked him to bring, they took OLUNLOYO and somebody from Abeokuta and a European. They took them into a room, asked OLUNLOYO to tell that European his mother's name. So OLUNLOYO said his mother's name is Abel. Oh, this. And the European wrote down Abel on a sheet of paper. So they asked OLUNLOYO to go out, the European to be locked in, and they brought another man who was not in the room with them outside the church and gave him the paper. And they requested that OLUNLOYO should ask the man for his mother. So the man opened the paper and said, your mother's name is Abel. He said, but you are not with us in the room. You are not with us in the room. So somebody who was not there can have information about what was going on there in the room. Somebody who was not in the room with us. This is magic. I would like my children to know how to operate this magic. So he changed his name to his children. That's how his children began to go to school. And we have had many illustrious people. We were the first to graduate. I was the, what can I say, the flag bearer in
I didn't hear that,
Standard
Daddy.
4
In primary school,
and Standard 5.
you did what in primary school, sir?
I came first in all the schools in Standard 4 in Ibadan province. From St.
Wow.
Peter's School, Arima. And in 46. In 47, I was in Maga. I also came first in the whole of, I know very well, and and in church and all the people in Baga at that time. So I came first too. I got into government college from Baga.
The internet is disturbing us. Daddy, can you please take us back to your getting into government college, Ibadan? This internet. And Daddy got the best internet in Ibadan, 4G. Yeah, Daddy, yeah, how you entered government college, Ibadan. That's where we lost you,
Yes.
sir.
I was only Standard 5 boy, and I came from Baga. In April 1947, I was only Standard 5 boy who got his scholarship straight into government college. And I think in my first year in government college, I lagged behind the Standard 6 boys. Dele was second out of 2002. I was in mathematics, for example, I was 21st out of 26. Yes.
What happened, Daddy? Did you overplay?
No, what happened was that I hadn't covered the syllabus for Standard 6.
Oh, okay, you came in from Standard 5.
I came in from Standard 5. But the next exam, conducted by JBO Ojo, my classmates always marveled. I went from 21st out of 23 to the enviable position of first.
Wow, from way behind.
Yes, from 21st to first. And Ojo wrote, "This boy has great potentialities." Excellent. He has great potentialities. I hung on to that first position till the end. And we had a very good time in government college, grade 1 school certificate, entrance to University College, Ibadan. We were very lucky. The year we entered government college was the year the university was opened at Dele. And by the time we finished, the University College at Abadina was ready. We were the first occupants. So we had the first graduate woman in OLUNLOYO family, Ranti Onika. We had I left the university and went to the University of St. Andrews. I got a scholarship. I was to go to Selwyn College, Cambridge, but I decided I couldn't wait HSC was 2 years, but I did it in 3 months.
Wow.
I did it in 3 months. The career houses in his 80th anniversary biography. Then my brother, Shegun, was in Form 4 then. He decided he was taken into New York, Ithaca. Femi OLUNLOYO, Harvard, MIT, Denver, Colorado, and McGill.
Wow.
Shegun was an NNOM. I decided in government college. In government college, I decided to specialize and to be known and to be famous. Government college was built on 2 principles: academics and also sports. Myself, I was the opening bowler for the school, and
Wow.
I was the opening bowler, and Awuchika was the captain. We beat virtually all schools in that we played. Incidentally, Anyaoko will come from the ambassador, the
Chief Emeka Anyako.
make Ayako will come from Buma here. We meet in Warri, in Ugeli, and then we play. It was our contemporary. Then we had a cousin, Abodeni, who was in Yale. We had we had several in government college. I was the school's opening bowler, and also Lekan was the center forward. 20 goals in 17 matches. We
Wow.
were running at par. And then also, we worked all the problems in Durrell, arithmetic, Durrell, algebra, Durrell, geometry, Durrell, trigonometry. And there was one question which neither any senior or junior could work. It was called the billiard ball problem.
Wow.
I managed, no senior boy, no junior boy solved that problem. And then the principal took us to the university one day, and we saw a billiard table. When we returned, it took 4 of us. When we returned to government college, the first thing I did was to solve the billiard ball problem. And the boys gave me the nickname Archimedes. Archimedes of Syracuse.
Archimedes. Okay.
So those were the things we enacted. There was a lot of heroism. King's College Lagos beat us in 1946. We drew in 46 in cricket. They beat us in 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, and then our last year, 52. Awuchika and I, we did nothing but play cricket. And then we revenged. We beat them home and away. Igbobi home and away. Lagos Grammar School home and away. And we set a record for future generations. I did something that is memorable in government college, and I asked Awuchika to let us prepare for future victories. And when I went around all the houses, I found a very talented boy, Chris Enahoro. He was so good. He was in Form 1. I asked Awuchika to let us put him in the first 11, the Form 1 boy. We put him into first 11. Eventually, he became the school captain and the Nigerian captain.
Wow.
So was Dr. I've forgotten, Dr. What do you call his name now? I've forgotten his name. They continued our victories for about 3, 4, 5 years. So those were the things we enacted. A lot of heroism, and we are very, very grateful to Wale Babalakin, the president. Dr. Wale Babalakin, who went to Cambridge, he has revived the field and is in the shape we left it. But the field had been destroyed. But Wale, we were very happy last year when Wale, we had a lot of happiness and joy. In the University of St. Andrews, the record which I laid, I was told 3 years ago, remains unbeaten. The record remains unbeaten. They had several exams where we could do all questions. There was an exam in which I got 132 over 100.
132 over 100. How is that possible, sir?
Yes, I did all the questions. And then there were 6 medals. I got 5 of the medals, gold medals.
Wow.
They said we were demoralizing the boys. First of all, they wanted me to start in. It's a 4-year course. I told them that my standard was higher than a 4-year. So they laughed at me, and they said they couldn't agree for anybody to begin in 2nd year. So I went to the professor of electrical engineering, who was Cambridge GSE. I went to him. I said, I want to appeal the decision of the Senate that they should give me an exam. They should give me an exam in 7 days. Give me 7 days and see whether I'm fit for. I could do this. I could begin from 2nd year. They gave me the exam. In 7 days, physics I got 84%, chemistry 88%, and mathematics, which was the denouement, as the French would say. In the mathematics, I got 98.
Wow. So,
I asked the professor a very funny question. I said, how could somebody get 98? Where are the remaining 2 marks? He said, you are where are the remaining 2 marks? How could one get 98? So that was 270 over 300. So they said I should go on and to the 2nd year as I wished. At the end of that session, they took me to the Senate. Professor Colway took me to the Senate to introduce me. Because some people might have just joined the staff, he says he has a visitor he wants to introduce to the Senate. Did they remember the African man who said he would like to start from 2nd year? He said he has brought him. Not only did he start in 2nd year, but he was first. And therefore, he brought him that the Senate should be grateful that he has made their system flexible like in Cambridge. If you say you want There was Ramanujan, who had no certificate, from southern India.
Wow.
And he knew more mathematics than some of the lecturers. He had no degree. Ramanujan,
Wow.
Srinivasan Raman.
Wow.
There was an episode, the professor, Hadi, went to the hospital because this Indian man had, he sent his manuscript to London and they thought it was nonsense. So they sent the thing back to him. He sent the same manuscripts to Cambridge and they said it was miraculous.
Wow.
So but you have to have a degree of some sort. They wanted to, they then invited Ramanujan to make him a fellow. So they gave him an honorary PhD.
Wow.
Now, when the Professor Hadi visited Ramanujan in the hospital, he had tuberculosis. The professor was complaining that he had come in a taxi with a dull number. The number of the taxi was dull. So the Ramanujan said, "What is the number?" The professor said, 1729, 1729. Oh, Ramanujan said that number is not a dull number. It's a very interesting number. 1729 is the sum of two cubes in two different ways, and is the smallest such number. 1729 is 1,000 plus 729. 1,000 is 10 cubed. 729 is 9 cubed. 9 times 9 times 9. 9 times 9 is 81 times another 9. That is 729. And 10 times 10 times 10 is. Then he said, moreover, 12 cubed is 12 times 12 times 12 cubed is 12 times 12 times 1729, 1728. And 1 cubed is 1 times 1 times 1. 1728 plus 1 is equal to 10 cubed plus 9 cubed. And there's no smaller number. So they said, well, that is true. Ramanujan then left about 500 problems. He died young. Some of if you solve a problem of Ramanujan, you become famous. You get a chair. Till today, some of Ramanujan's problems have not been solved.
Till today. Wow.
Till today, some of them have not been solved. And so that is it. There are some people who, one of my sons, I just come out of, he should be walking down the street. He has got, Ayobami has become, he's passed, and he came second in MBA down in College, Cambridge.
Wow.
And so it has always been his ambition. And so the OLUNLOYO family is rich with a particular section of it. Our father was regarded as the brightest man in this town, Ibadan. And followed by Adedibu, Adilabu. Adegoke Adilabu.
Benkelemes.
Benkelemes was misrepresented in Chuntokun's book on Akintola. Adilabu got double promotion as you will see in Biobakus, when we were young, it was Saburi, Professor Saburi Biobaku said on page 58 of his book that Adelabu was 1 year senior to them and that he was the brightest boy government college had produced or is likely ever to produce.
Wow.
That Agboke Adelabu was the brightest boy government college Ibadan had produced or is likely ever to produce.
Wow.
So you cannot say a person like that is just eating amala by the roadside. When he contested the election, they had an election in Ibadan, 46 wards. Adelabu got 42 seats, 2 seats, 42 seats. Two seats were independent, and 2 seats were action group. So I would all then question them. I would all very much wanted Adilabu to be in the action group. But actually, he kept saying that he was an ignorant man and so on. So Adilabu said, I would have said, how can a man be ignorant and get 44 seats, and you people get only 2 seats? And then at the next federal election, the minister, Akinloye was defeated by Lekan Salam. So that's the OLUNLOYO family had always been.
Yes. I can you speak about Horatio, Daddy?
Yeah, Horatio is the name of my father.
I see.
And one thing about Horatio was that he died very early. He died at 42. I'm now 85, but he died at half my age. I have a son who is Horatio. Horatio was regarded as the brightest man in the town, as I said, and he was, by a letter which Chief Awolowo wrote me during the 12th Truth thing. Horatio was the first person to pass the London Matric, which was regarded as highly regarded at the time. Oyeshina, that's Ibika, were also forerunners. But Horatio, and then Chief Awolowo said Horatio taught him Latin, that he felt that he must have been a Roman in a previous life, that he taught him Latin, which was, but I knew who was teaching Horatio. It was Justice Jibo in Lagos who was teaching Horatio. Then Horatio would teach other people. That was how it. And he built the first house on the Okeado Road, where we are having this interview now. I only put a garden around the house.
I can see you've maintained the garden very well, Daddy.
Well,
I posted the picture yesterday.
I You can thank me, you can thank Benga and all these people. Benga is the man called Kapoor.
Kapoor,
Kapoor.
OLUNLOYO, the governor. All your children are watching you, Daddy. They are all watching. Kemi is there, Benga is there, Ayobami is there. Everybody is watching right now.
But Kapoor, Kapoor is the phenomenon. He's like Ramanujan. He knows the computer inside out, hardware, software. Although he's humble at a book, I've told him he must write a book on computers.
Wow.
Because you don't need to go to university, and he played most of his time in the university, but the computer was in him. The computer was in him, and he only had to write he only has to write down all he knows about computers, both software and hardware. He worked in various banks, various transport systems in England. I remember 77. I remembered him on 77 that some of the work he did on the London transport saved several lives. You know, Ayobami was in 77, he was in one of those trains. And he came out with the Anini sisters' son. Ayobami decided to take a walk. The two of them came out of the underground. The unfortunate boy then took a bus. There was another bomb in the bus. So that's why people talk of fate.
And I must tell you this, Daddy. When I arrived exile in 1995, I lived with your son, Benga, for months, and his wife, Ayo, and they took very good care of us in London. They made London so easy. The day I landed, even from Ghana, when I escaped from Nigeria, right from Ghana, Benga was busy coordinating his friends. They gathered money, sent money to me in Ghana, and I moved straight to his house in Customs House before they later moved to Beckton. And I must say this publicly, that I'm very, very grateful to the family, Daddy.
Yes,
And
he's a quiet man.
very quiet, smooth operator. He's a smooth
Yes.
operator. Yes, you must be very, very proud of your family, and we're all very proud of the entire family. I would like, one of the things I heard about you is that you started life very early as an administrator and all that. Could you take us down memory lane?
Yes, I became a commissioner at 27.
Wow.
Commissioner for Economic Planning and Community Development, with special responsibility for the census of 1962. The some of the memos we wrote, and I had a fantastic permanent secretary. That was Chief Dina, who ought to have become the head of service after Chief Adibo, if not for some intrigues and so on. They lied against him. The real problem we had was the census. After we did the census, the actual figure we got was astonishing. We got 14 million in the north also. And we got 70 million in the South. We were not surprised because the 1931 census was doctored by the colonial powers. And in any case, the density of population decreases as you approach the desert. So we were not surprised that that was the outcome. But I praise Mark J. Kodumi for something, which I also praise General Adebayo, who gave me one of the most difficult problems to solve, the Alaafin of Oyo vacancy to fill. Not one day did Mark J. Kodumi tell me what to do about that census. Not one day did Major General Adebayo tell me what to do about the Alaafin. I was not interfered with. I was not asked any question. Nobody asked me any question until I arrived at the problem. I was surprised with the action group. The only person who had the political acumen, apart from Bisi Onabanjo, who thought the census was important, the only person who thought the census was important was Shonibare. Shonibare, S.O. Shonibare, Samuel Olatunbosun Shonibare.
Wow.
1920 to 1964. He asked me about the census. So I told him what I had to tell him. Today, if you want to see the figures, I gave the figures and all the workings. I gave them to somebody who ought to have used it, and that is Chief Obafemi Awolowo. And he put it in his library, David Chokolu Library in Ikene, inside the glass case. Anybody can go there and read it. That is what I also gave him a solution to the 12 2/3 problem. I saw Professor his son-in-law, what's his name now? Oyediran.
Professor Kayode Oyediran.
Yes. I saw them when I was in science and technology, NSTD. They were roaming around, they were pushing them down. So from the third floor, I asked them to call them up. What do you want? Come for the answer. They wanted a grant for a conference and so on. So I called the staff. I said, these two people have come on account of this. What are the conditions under which you give them grants? So they stated the conditions. Have they met the conditions, or is there a deficit? They said they have met the conditions, but there is no fund. I said, you see, the lady is the daughter of the man who gave us scholarships to go to Britain to study engineering, mathematics. I got 2 scholarships. One for engineering, one for mathematics, and I used both. So if they have fulfilled all the conditions, the thing, if you have any objection, by virtue of what, and whereas I am the head here, And whereas they have confirmed, you have confirmed what he told me. The approval is given with immediate effect. You collect your check tomorrow. So I told you, the woman you married has saved you. You married the right woman. He has saved you here. So he didn't say he couldn't believe that it will be up. I said, go behind that woman. Don't go in front of her. That was during that thing, they called two of us, the 12 truthers, but you may not want to hear what transpired.
I wanted us to go back a bit because you are probably the last encyclopedia on a lot of stories about Nigeria. The post-independent Nigeria, I would want you to speak about your interpretation of the roles of, for example, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the Owele of Onitsha, Chief Nnamdi Azikiwe, Obadesoji Aderemi, how he became the first governor. That will make an interesting story.
Yes. In the last few months, some of us, to start with, we were action group in the university. It is very interesting that we formed an action group club in the University of. You know whom we chose, who formed the club actually, and went from room to room, and who we chose unanimously as president? It was Ambrose Ali.
Wow, Professor.
Yes, I published the picture in the Tribune. He was the one who formed the action group, students club. The vice president was Muyiwa Awe, the great physicist. Bolanle Awe's husband.
Professor Shoyinka's friend and co-pirate at the time.
Yes,
we will come back to them, sir. We will come back to them.
Yes, we were all that. Oloyede Awoshika and I, the first, we will still come back to them.
We'll come back, sir. Yes, sir.
Emiola Adesina, who had just died, was there. Oshisanya, the brother of the first wife of Shubome Balogun, who were the members. Eugene Odunjo, Banjo Shularu.
Wow.
We were action group. What made some of us break is the way the action group was run as a one-man show. We felt when the action group had a crisis, Akintola asked for one of two things, and he was denied both. He asked that they have to be dissolved and a new election be run. He was denied a meeting of the House. He was denied a meeting of the House, and he was denied a new election. He wanted what do you call this thing? What you do in England to test
a referendum?
No, what you do in England to test your popularity.
Okay, the short run election.
No, not short run election. The
opinion poll.
No, in the house, when you vote in the house, whether the prime
in the
minister, whether he still enjoys a majority. You know that whether the prime minister still enjoys
in the
or if
it,
you dissolve the house and you have a new election.
yes, sir.
He was denied both. And we felt that was wrong. And some of us went to Akintola's side. Both of them played money politics. Awolowo had an exercise book in his house. You sign that you don't want Akintola and you collect a bag of money. Akintola had an exercise book in his house. You sign, you don't want, you want Akintola to stay and you collect a bag of money. And I remember one day, Akintola asked Ogundiran, ǹjọ́ ní lọ wádìí ibi tí nọ́mbà wọn dé lọ́hùn-ún. Ń tọ́ bá gbà á jọ pín ní o. Ọ̀nà méjì ló ti gbowó lọ sọ́hùn kó mọ ibi tí nọ́mbà wọn dé. So they were playing that type of politics. So that was how we started. And but in the last 6 months, we found that many of the things Awolowo wrote in his first book, Path to Nigerian Freedom, about the relationship of the British and the Fulanis, was right. We found that we was right and we were wrong. We were foolish. We did not understand the depth of his experience. Many people don't know that Balewa was not a Fulani. They did not know that he was not even a Hausa.
Where did he come from, sir?
He comes from somewhere in Bauchi. He's in his biography. Gawan was an Angas. And he succeeded in ruling for 9 years to the date. But you will find Fulanis, the test case is the way the Ilorin was established.
Yes. They are from that story.
That's a long story. It's another story. And how Ilorin became a Fulani town, not Yoruba. Not a Yoruba town any longer. I would also saw that thing as early as 46, 47. And from the events going on now, in the last 3 months, in the last 6 months, one cannot gainsay anything Awolowo wrote.
Path to Nigerian freedom.
Path to Nigerian freedom.
Did you read Travels of Democracy?
Of course. One day, I wanted to educate Tribune. I went to the Tribune office. And many things have happened. Just let me tell you, I'm one aside. One day, Akinjide came to me and said he wants to know what the inside of Tribune was. Will it be safe if he goes there? I said, I will take him there. I took him to Tribune. They said, this man, 12 tutors.
Mr. 12 2/3.
Look at it. Nobody harmed him. So, I went to Tribune Library. I found that they did not have many of Awolowo's books.
Wow.
And the lectures. You know, Path to Nigerian Freedom is the first one.
Yes, sir.
And you know, the day he wanted to launch the last one was the day he was buried. Then he gave a number of lectures in Ahmadu Bello, in Ghana, in Benin, in the University of Ibadan. All those lectures. And then some of the pictures when he was being sworn in, exactly at 1 o'clock on the 6th of February 1952. And the clock, the long hand pointed to 12 and the short hand to 1. And the photographic trick which that man used is that he must have snapped 10, 20 times before he, and then chose the one where the 1 o'clock sharp. He chose that one to print. Many of the things so they had only 1 or 2 books of. So I told Wally to go and get that they should go and get all the books. And I furnished their room, their chairman's room with all those photographs. Just as I gave you about 60 or something photographs when you are going to write your ouvre spécial, the Akintola
Akintola, hero of villain. Hero of villain.
Hero of villain.
Of villain,
And
yes.
Louis Obi was your boss.
Yes, he was my editor at Concord.
Yeah.
You still remember Louis Obi? Oh my God. That is brain.
And
wow.
You know, that work of yours was the first sellout.
Total.
All the copies you printed were sold out. And then they asked for 50% for the next week.
It was incredible. And that was the beginning of rehabilitating the Akintola name. I said it was the beginning of rehabilitating the Akintola name. And the university in Ife agreed to now give them Akintola Hall in Sports Center. No, you worked very hard that day. You worked hard.
The Akintola, the college at Ogbomoso. So, and that was the beginning of your meteoric rise too.
No, I used to come and sit down with you and eat ugwongwo. I remember the delicacy, our ugwongwo. We will still talk about food and your red wines. Now, I wanted us to do something because I am sure this is going to...
You know, that thing you said, everything he wrote in the book, look, you remember the Marjorie Parham, who said some of the things Awolowo wrote were controversial or not accurate. And Awolowo insisted that she must not alter anything he has written. And Marjorie Parham says he too must not alter anything she has written. And she agreed. But today, it seems that Awolowo was right. So, painfully true.
I wanted us to take, I've written down names of different personalities, dramatis personnel at different times in the history of Nigeria. I wanted you to speak briefly about Pa Anthony Enahoro.
Anthony Enahoro, you remember Anthony Enahoro attended King's College, Lagos, and he was a rebel. Because of Anthony Enahoro, they rusticated his class for 1 year. They rusticated his class. You know that story?
Yes, sir.
No. They
Yes,
rusticated.
I heard the story.
Oh, yes. And he was Awolowo's Minister of Home Affairs. And he wrote the paper for television, for education, for entertainment, and for news. Michael Adekunle Ajasin wrote the paper for education. Whilst Enahoro wrote the one for the television. The last thing I remember Enahoro saying, which I will never forget, is that there are too many states. And if they want to make nonsense of themselves and of Nigeria, they should create 60 states or 100 states. There are too many states.
And they are not viable.
They are not viable. And there's nothing like First Lady in any constitution. The only two people who have spoken about this First Lady are Shoyinka, who is not a practicing politician, but who is free to say what is in his mind, and my friend's brother, Chief Akande. Akande is the only one who has honestly stuck to the view that there's nothing called First Lady.
Which of the Akondes are Baba Akonde?
Baba Bisi Akande.
Chief Bisi Akonde, yes, sir.
I don't know his true age, but Bisi Akande is the only one who has not been carrying his First Lady around. There are some First Ladies who even override
the governor,
or who are more than the governor. Some are were in Yoruba land, who almost took over materially the governorship, which is a cause. There are some at the federal who almost took up the presidency. I remember one who wanted to have 4 daughters to marry governors. And people did not enjoy the presidency because the man was very ill, but he was a rebel. So there has been a lot of nonsense going on in this country. Absolute nonsense.
Before we get to the country, sir, the individuals, I wanted us to speak about Akintola now that we've already mentioned him in passing. What exactly was the problem in the Old Western region?
The problem in the Old Western region was that Akintola was interested in pragmatic politics. That is, he wanted that the politics is not ideological. The thing was not ideological. It was more or less sharing a national cake. But Awolowo believed in actual ideological politics. Awolowo believed that, let's take the question of opposition. Awolowo believed that you be an opposition for a government to be alert. The opposition he had at Ibadan was a very alert opposition. Can you imagine Okoche-Ebo, Zik, Adilabu, all opposing the government? They were very astute. T.O.S. Benson,
Adeniro Ogunsonya.
Adeleke Adeniro Ogunsonya. And that a government will be on its toes, if and only if they had a good opposition. Sardauna, whose party ruled Nigeria literally, did not leave Kaduna. He sent his second in command to Lagos.
Just was like using remote control.
Yes. But Awolowo was not pragmatic like that. He believed, you know, Sir Jim Callahan said Awolowo will make a good Prime Minister of England. Sonny Jim Callahan. But Awolowo will make a good Prime Minister of England. But Nigeria, as I've said several times, the kind of Prime Minister they want in Nigeria is one who will leave the doors of the central bank wide open.
That's a soundbite, Daddy. That's a powerful one. You must know how to leave the vaults open.
Yes, Awolowo will insist they do daily check. That those 2 extra hours that the commercial banks do, he will not allow them to balance their book. They will balance their books yearly or he will not want a thing like that.
Wow.
And if you read Path to Nigerian Freedom carefully, as Professor Ogumola and I have read it, Professor Ogumola used to be the president of the Academy of Sciences. We have read that book several times. And there's another book by Marjorie Parham, A Journey Through Nigeria, 31, 32, 33, where we got to know that 24,000 pounds sterling was used to build Mako.
24,000 pounds.
Pounds sterling, yes. And Agbaje had in the bank, Agbaje had 250,000 pounds in the bank.
Wow.
And he produced the first doctor from Glasgow. He produced the first lawyer, Majid. He produced the first engineer and the first accountant.
Wow.
So, if you read Path to Nigerian Freedom, you will see that Awolowo had an initial obstruction from the expatriates. There is a passage that says that the British the British sat on Nigerians and the Fulanis sat on the Hausas. They don't, and that the day will not be far when the Hausas will distinguish what is ordained by Allah from what is ordained by man.
Powerful.
Very powerful.
Powerful.
He says they are the most heavily taxed and they have never been known to grumble. That the Fulanis sit tightly on the Hausas. And there are two kinds of Fulanis, the cattle Fulanis, and that reminds you, and should remind you of what do you call it? Nomadic education. When one of them became Minister of Education. And again,
Professor Jibril Aminu.
Yes, brilliant man, trained in Ibadan here, in the University College Hospital, and which was at that time the 6th best hospital in the Commonwealth.
Wow, UCH Ibadan.
UCH Ibadan was the 6th best hospital. And a few years ago, it was its 65th. Position 65.
If not worse now.
If not worse now. Whereas in Ghana, Kolebo, has maintained its
status.
Yes. I was external examiner in Legon for a number of years.
In
They
Ghana.
started in
I said University of Ghana, Legon.
Legon. And when I was commissioner for education, which I was for 3.5 years, and twice, I used to take some of my staff to see what Cape Coast was like. Addis Adel, Fasimpin,
Wow.
what's the agri one?
In fact, Daddy, you know Ghana more than me. I live in Ghana. I don't know some of these places.
And then eventually the University of Cape Coast.
Cape Coast, I know that one, yes.
Of education. The best secondary schools in West Africa are in Cape Coast. You know what happened? Abdulaziz Atta, who was a secretary to the government, when he left this place, he went to Agri, from there to Oxford. And he traveled the same year with Awolowo, whom he became permanent secretary to, and Taslim Elias, one of the brightest men Nigeria has ever produced.
That's the Chief Justice.
Chief Justice who was retired, but later on given the first national honors. Obasanjo connected himself there. So
Yeah, we're talking about Akintola.
Akintola was, his wife was more fierce than he was. I remember crouching under his step one day. She was armed and ready for any eventuality. And she would always say, tí wọn bá pa ọ́, pa wọ́n, pa àwọn tó yẹ kó pa tó bá pa wọ́n, wọ́n pa ọ́. And Akintola would say, láàárọ̀ pípa. Nígbà bá pa gbogbo èèyàn tán, tó ló máa ṣèjọba lé lórí. Láàárọ̀ ó ní wọn, lọ́sàn-án kí wọ́n pa wọ́n, lálẹ́ wọn kó wọn pa wọ́n. Nígbà wọn bá pa gbogbo èèyàn tán, ìjọba kí ló wá lórí ta ló wà máa ṣèjọba.
Daddy, are you able to tell us the story of how Akintola was killed? Because you once told me it was one of my best sellers at Concord newspapers.
Yes, there is a man who called Professor Akintola. He is a geographer. He was in the house, in the residence. Professor Akintola is an expert on geography. He is economic. No. His specialization is the rainfall. And he was in the house with Yomi and 2 other children. And there's an office. The people sent to kill Akintola were from Abeokuta. They did not know his residence. They did not do their recce very well. They didn't do any recognizance. They didn't do any sensible recognizance. They thought that the premier's house will be next door to the governor's house. So Dele, father was the governor. And they thought the next house would be the house of the premier. But it was the house of the deputy premier, Fani Kayode. That was the only thing that had deputy premier. Fani to power on SLA's back. So they came to, they went straight past SLA at Yaganko and went to Agodi and captured Fani Kayode, but they found no marks on his face. They found no marks on his face. So they started arguing that this is not the man they want. This man has no marks. So they threw him at the back of their jeep. And that he must tell them, take them to wherever Fani Kayode is.
The way Akintola was.
Where Akintola was. Fani Kayode married Auntie Adia from Ghana. Femi's mother is from Ghana.
Oh, wow. I see the link now to Ghana. Wow.
Yes. You see the link. So Auntie Adia was from Ghana. Femi's mother is from Ghana. So they drove him to, so he took them to Yaganku. Auntie Adia did something very efficient. Gave Akintola the last chance. She phoned SLA that some policemen or soldiers have come and taken her husband away. So Akintola had time to prepare. Apparently, he dug a hole bigger than the muzzle of one of the guns he was using. By digging a hole bigger than the muzzle, the gun has
Space.
space to rotate. And he felled 8 of them. At about 2 o'clock, he felled about eight of them.
Wow. He was shooting.
He was shooting. He shot about 8 of them dead.
Wow.
He sent the boys to the office. Yomi was there.
Wow.
So the men retreated and went for reinforcement. And then Akintola had a chance to escape, but he did not. He had a chance to escape. He will go past the tennis court to quarter 421, which is Magara, where they sell fruits and so on, and became a schoolboy. That was Adegbe Rose quarters. Quarter 421.
Alaji Dauda.
Alaji Dada, Adegbe Rose. So he could have taken that route and just vanished, but his children will be left there. And moreover, he had been told early that day that there will be a coup.
Intelligence
From Dahomey.
From Dahomey, not even from Nigeria.
Chitu Olokwe had heard.
Wow.
From Kajola. Chitu Olokwe was living next door to Koladaisi in Lagos. And he controlled Kajola. And he had heard in Dahomey. And we had passed to Akintola. And Akintola and Lekan Salami went to Sadana. Sadana's judgment was that everybody should stay where he is.
Kai.
Again,
I said that was a fatal mistake.
Yes. No. It's their own religion.
Fatalism.
What must be, must be.
Must be.
The GOC for Ibadan, my malady, he was and Lagema. They were in the Koyo Hotel. They were hunted down in the Koyo Hotel and shot.
And killed, yeah.
Yes, and they were killed there. Even though they were from Ibadan. The British had informed Balewa, who had informed
Sadauna.
They had a boat where they had a boat with about 200 Marines with fantastic weapons. They will quell the riot in 1 or 2 hours. Just you know the just beyond the horizon. Balewa, they didn't see Ali. And like number 10, number 11, the Minister of Finance was next door to the Prime Minister.
Okotiebo.
Then in the morning was doing his early morning prayer. When they saw him doing his alwala and threw him at the back of, and took him to Agege, put his back against a kola nut tree and put a kola nut in his mouth and all that. So They came back at 4 o'clock, and they shot Akintola. They then broke the door and shot Akintola dead, and dragged his body on the lawn, left-hand side as you go in.
Where was Mrs. Fadera?
Mrs. Fadera told Akintola that she was going to Igbajo, her hometown.
Our hometown.
That since they have heard that there will be a coup, she is not going to allow herself to be slaughtered. She convinced Akintola to leave
He
this.
said no.
She refused to stay there.
Wow.
She went to Igbajo.
Igbajo. Fantastic. Okay. Maybe we'll move because
Then
of time.
there is something else
Yes,
about when in the morning I heard that there had been a actual coup, which we were expecting. I drove from the University of Ibadan to the Premier's house. It didn't take more than 10 or 15 minutes. The town is not so long, it's not so big. I drove from the University of Ibadan to the Premier's Lodge at the Yaganku. And I met a man at the door. He was in a Peugeot, blue Peugeot, WAQ 904.
Wow.
You know who that was? Parry or Sandy.
Wow.
He was a model policeman. We thought he would become Inspector General. In Ibadan, we always thought he would become, you know Parry?
Oh, very well.
We met Parry at the door. In his 404. WAQ 904.
Pojo.
So he said there has been, I said, Parry, what's happening? He said there has been a coup in Western Nigeria. I said there can't be a coup in Western Nigeria alone. He said that's what, but there were 2 bodies on the lawn. One was Akintola, we could see his face, and the other one was the other one was the generator man. They asked him to put off the generator, and he refused, and they shot him.
Wow.
The man who met us next was the Chief Justice Morgan. He went and got a bedsheet to cover the corpse of the premier. That's why he was removed. So that was this.
Okay.
When you see the retaliation was
I wanted to
much
speak about Agwin, Rossi, Adekunle Fajuyi, and the rest of them.
Agwin Rossi was not the one who planned the coup, as you know very well. But when he was killed, we had heard too. And my wife was working in UCH, and they stopped all traffic. I said, look, this is the last time we'll see these people. He said, no, how do you know that? So by evening, they had been killed. And their body was buried on Olodo Road, where Danjuma built a bank.
General T.Y. Danjuma.
T.Y. Danjuma. It took 3 months before their bodies could be found.
Wow. This is serious history. So what
Very
was
serious.
the truth about Fajri laying down his life?
I think it's a lie. It's
Okay.
a lie. There were instructions to eliminate the two of them. This information, this information was so rampant. Do you know one thing? Iransi even broadcast. His broadcast went as well. Despite all the rumors, the conference of natural rulers will still go on at Ibadan. I have heard several rumors about my person, but please ignore it. Ignore them.
Was it true that Awolowo was seen on the moon? Before we forget that.
Oh no, it was not. And I don't think I got to be a Kennedy. People saw they saw what they liked to see.
Because I looked well when I was very young and I thought I was seeing Awolowo and his cap on the moon.
It's very funny. Gunde's, Gunde had many songs at that time. It was funny. That was very, very funny.
Wow.
It was not like that, as you know, you and I know.
Then could we speak briefly about Professor Wole Soyinka? Because you must have been contemporaries of sorts, maybe at Government College Ibadan, and then he went to University of Ibadan before he left for Leeds.
Yes, we were both in University of Ibadan, and we were both in Government College. His father was the principal, was the headmaster of St. Peter's now
In Abeokuta.
in Abeokuta, and his name was S.A. Soyinka. He was from Ishara. He made Wole write one essay every day. And that earned him his sobriquet, nickname.
Essay?
Baba Essay. One day on a sheet of a page, not exceeding a page. A market day in my hometown. This what I love to eat most. One essay every day. Now he got into Government College 2 years before us. He was in the bright class of Awe Akinkugbe, an extremely bright person in that class, was from Ilesha. Oni, very usually first. Oni was the medical person, and within about 7 years of joining the medical services, he had become director of the medical services in Western State.
Wow.
What do you call him? Christopher Kolade was also in that class. Gobad was in that class. Gobadia was in that class. Ole was in that class. So, Wole, we had a system, two interesting things about Wole. We had a system in Government College where we suggestion box, but we turned it into a criticism box. We criticized the teachers. They took 24 boys. They took 24 boys every year. Here was the first double stream, but normally 24 boys and 2 houses, 12 in one house, 12 in another house. 24 boys, 35 teachers, more teachers than students. So, if you have any suggestion or any criticism, you write it. You pass it to Wole Soyinka, who will rewrite it in probably better English, and then there is a room which is dedicated to that purpose. And he will take it there at 7 o'clock or something, and he will paste it. The boys will go and read it after school hours. So one day, one episode happened. There was an essay by Soyinka. He said several things. One of them is that some of the students are brighter than some of the teachers. That some of the examples were given in geography, in mathematics, in physics. See, there is no teacher who is as good as OLUNLOYO in mathematics. There's no teacher who is as good as Awe in physics. There's no teacher who is as good as Gubadi in chemistry. There's no teacher who is as good as... So the principal then called an emergency meeting. He was a Scottish boy, Captain W.H.B. Brown. You know, he calls, they speak English like Ibadan people, sitting on cushion chair, you know. So he said, yes, I have bad news for you. You boys have taken liberty for license. The last suggestion that was published, that was published today is the last. We are stopping the system. But I'd like you to know one thing. We have studied the essay very well, and we see some footprints of some people in it. As for the lexis, the vocabulary, the structure of the sentences, and so on, the major part of this essay, this nefarious essay, could not have been by anybody but Wole Soyinka. So we began to look at it. How does he know Wole Soyinka will send a junior boy to go and paste it? He said he knew from every aspect of grammar that is Wole Soyinka. It could only have been Wole Soyinka. So we trotted out of the class, out of the hall. And then I think it's Orishina who said Wole Soyinka. That is W.S. That is William Shakespeare. So we said, look, let's call the man William Shakespeare. And one thing, he was reading 4 times as fast as the others. So we decided to test him. That we will approach him. We said, at Dubifa, and I do find myself and 2 other boys, Oshina. We said he was just scanning the books. He was not reading them. He said he had read them. Charles Dickens called David Copperfield, A Tale of Two Cities, Shakespeare, Macbeth, everything he has read. So we decided we challenge him that we are going to take 4 of the books he has entered from the library. we divided the books into, we gave one each to a boy to read. And then we said we want to challenge him. This was the greatest Roman of them all. All the conspirators did that, they did in envy of great Caesar. He only in a common good make one of them. His life was gentle and the elements mixed in him, that nature might stand and say to all the world, this was a man. According to his value, let us use him. His bones shall lie in my tent tonight. Talu saw, Nibo Nimati saw, Wole will say that is the exeunt of Julius Caesar. I say, all right, 1 upon 4. We tested him, all the 4 he got. So we got convinced that he was reading the books, not scanning them. But we got the shock of our lives with Wole Soyinka when they took the entrance to University College. He was not taken.
What?
We were shocked. Because we felt, all of us, we failed when we take in our own time. So he became 1 year, he got to be only 1 year ahead of us. Not
instead of 2.
Instead of 2. So we got to University College, and then we played all our pranks, and then we went to Scotland, banjo, and Ayo banjo, and then he went to Leeds, and so on. Another thing that was interesting between Soyinka and I is that the 2 of us wanted to marry the same woman, a certain person from St. Anne's. And the woman said she wanted to marry both of us.
Sister Laide?
Sister Laide.
Sister Laide. Wow.
So she wanted to marry us. You can't marry 2 men at the same time, but we still love her.
Wow. You must have had great fun.
A professor in Ibadan interviewed Lady and said, how come you cannot find anybody else except these confounded rascals? That was her fate. So she gave, this lady is a professor too, gave her the advice, next time when you come, you marry the one you love, and you marry the one who loves you more rather than marry the one you love more.
You love. Profound.
Well,
we haven't spoken about any woman. Let's speak about Mrs. Folake Solanke, senior advocate of Nigeria.
Oh, Mrs. Folake Solanke is a gem. A gem. I think so highly of her. She's an Odulate from Ikorodu. The action group who embarrassed her in London. They wanted to sell her in a native marriage, native kind of marriage. And she uttered one sentence, which they hung on to. My father is a liar or something. But they harassed the woman. The case was at the Old Bailey or something. And some few years ago, maybe 5 years or so, I wrote her a letter. I wrote her an inspired letter. A very personal and inspired letter. Her was the first person. Was the first person I was going in the Dundee campus of the University of Wales. Was the first person I met on entry, and it was a symbol of good luck for me, because not only did I get 5 out of 6 gold medals, I came first in almost all the subjects, and then I got a prize which goes around the universities in Scotland, and it had eluded the University of St. Andrews for 11 years, and I brought that prize back to St. Andrews, and Bolande Awe and we were.
I just wrote down her name. She's next.
Yeah, Bolande Awe and we have been, for the last 1 year, they didn't allow us to take a picture of our graduation. As soon as my name was called, all the professors stood up.
Wow.
All the lecturers stood up. The students, they lay on the ground. They lay on the ground, and I thought there was going to be a riot. And the ceremony on the 1st of July came to a halt for 15 minutes. And the Vice Chancellor allowed them, Mr. and Mrs. Kinshete, took us to a 5-star hotel. They did not, I did not know anything about the British Association Prize. I had not even heard about it. And I didn't know I did the university any favor or anything like that. But the PhD, they transferred me from engineering. Another phenomenal thing is that they transferred me from, allowing me to do engineering for 3 years instead of 4. They then transferred me especially from engineering to mathematics.
Oh, I thought you were straight maths.
No, mechanical engineering.
Wow.
Mechanical engineering, 5 gold medals out of 6. Then they transferred me to science.
Wow.
And the science thing, if you are to count, you have to do 3 years for BSc, 1 for MSc, 3 for PhD. 7 years. They allowed me to count long vacation as a year, as a term. So I did the 7 years work in 2 years, 2 calendar years. The 7 years I did in 2 calendar years.
Wow.
And they did not want me to go. They gave me a letter to Coulson in Oxford. And I went to Coulson and I told him I had to return home.
Patriotism.
Yes. Shoyinka, Bolaige and I, we were always together in London. Akinkwugwe was always in his hospital. We studied music in his room. And Fela Shoande's music and Nigerian Independence Symphony and the Wole Soyinka won the prize for literature. And you know that thing is so potentious, like that of Awolowo. You know you are a literature man. You know the ancestors. The ancestors. They are having a ceremony, and the ancestors are invited to
dance
come
of
to
a dance of the forest.
a dance
A
of the
dance
forest.
of the forest. I remember it very well. Dance of the forest.
Is very, very potential. Ní àwọn òkú yẹn bá jáde nínú Sorry. The Abali looked at where his house was. It had become a telephone exchange in Barbina Street. They looked around and saw that it was not the country they left. Straight, they went back into the grave.
They couldn't recognize anything.
They couldn't recognize anywhere. If Awolowo or Balewa no go, they come back and they look now. Awolowo will find his house.
They will go back to their grave. Soyinka saw it way ahead.
Yes. Soyinka saw ahead. And the story is Dance of the Forest. I still marvel at it.
Yeah, the official play for the independence.
It's the official play. And the music was played by Bournemouth. My son has located the music.
Wow.
Because we had one and we played it to death, the disc. And so those two things, we were studying them, and then we were going about how we will improve Nigeria, how we will do this, how we will do that in our tattered jackets. When I was invited to Buckingham Palace, I had to go to rent a
jacket,
a full dress.
Oh,
Hugo Boss.
Hugo Boss.
Hugo Boss.
Wow.
With a good Hugo Boss with a good tie, and you
were wearing bow tie.
Yes, a silk tie from this Covent Garden shop, and then we went there, and the Queen recognized us, and she had crammed our names. We felt really tall. But and I, we can never forget the day.
Wow.
Unfortunately, Sister Ebun didn't live long, and she went blind. Who took us to the 5-star hotel. And all I did was a sabbatical in Oxford. In Oxford every day, there are 4 Shakespeare plays. 4 Shakespeare plays that are put on every night with different casts. So Cambridge was scientific, but I wanted science and literature.
Literature together.
Together, I wanted them together.
Wow. Before we go to politics, let's talk a bit about business. What can you tell us about the late Pa Alfred Rewane?
Alfred Rewane is not respected as much as he should be. He was a very lovely man. He was a very lovely man. The nickname we gave him was pound, no change. He used to send a dozen of his wearing apparel to England every week to be laundered.
To look perfectly in order.
Be prim and proper.
Wow.
And he always liked to be in the company of young men. He was in 2 very, very important positions. He was the chairman of NIPC. NIPC. And, you know, that was the thing that caused trouble on this Cocoa House, Bristol Hotel, Western House, all those houses. But he was a very nice man. You know, the Ministry of Education in Ibadan with a fountain and a fish and so on. He constructed that for WNDC. Then in Cocoa House, his office was the best furnished. I occupied that office. It was on level 17. It was the most beautiful office in Ibadan that Rewani built. He was a very jovial, very decent, and very. The way he was killed, I shudder. Something like about West Africa Overton Limited. Am I right?
Yes, Ovaltine. Yes, sir.
Overton.
Yes, it was intact.
They got a car, a brand new car, like the chairman's car, with WA Overton written on it. So the guardsman just opened the door for them.
Thinking they were from Ovaltine.
Yes, that's why he was killed. But you know, I have been having a running battle with this because do I don't know. There's no picture of mine there. There's no picture of Rewani there. They just have Awolowo and Akintola. No Rewani, no Ademilui, who came before me. My own is not there. And I told them, this place has a long history. This is unfair to us. It's unfair to us. And you know Oluayola. Oluayola was from Momodu.
No, sir.
Momodu, near your mother's.
Yes, I know Momodu very well. Yes, sir.
So,
next to Edwin Yakuyo. Edwin.
What do you call it? Edwin Oribo
Meje. Yes, sir.
Oluayola was my chief accountant there.
Okay.
Who had an office on the first floor of Cocoa House with Bolage's commissioner for finance, Morakiyo.
Oh, Abiola Morakiyo.
At that corner of
Morakiyo. Then at that corner of Ode Omu and Bogon.
Yeah,
Ode Omu.
Go through Ayekwe.
Yes, you go through Ayekwe. Yes, from OK Church. From OK Church Street. Yes.
And it's at that corner.
Yes, it's just right in the middle of the junction. Right in the middle. Yes. Very strategic.
Very strategic. And then you can continue journey
to Ede. And Oshobo.
And Oshobo. the land which Osun State built their headquarters, the Bolage House, actually belongs to Ede. It doesn't belong to Oshobo. Ede lo ni ilẹ̀ yẹn. So
wow.
gbogbo irú nǹkan báyẹn àwa tá a ṣe mọ díẹ̀ ń bẹ̀.
Yes, I wanted us to touch a few more business people. What was the true story of Shonibare, of the Shonibare estate fame? Yes, sir.
Shonibare ọkọ Lápérí, he was a workaholic. He lived only 44 years.
Wow.
1920 to 1964.
Wow.
He built all those houses that I mentioned. And he removed, you see, the piece of land which he used in Ibadan here, containing Cocoa House, was the Ministry of Works headquarters, which he moved to Ele, just beyond the police headquarters. And Sketch used part of it. So he was a man of tremendous energy. Shonibare in the morning is working, in the afternoon is working, in the evening is working. And I think he died of too much work. At the same time, he was building an estate.
In Maryland.
In Maryland. Grapevine has it that he was not the sole owner of that estate. I remember Oluwabodin lived in that estate once.
The Oluwabodin of Punch. Yes.
Yes, and Oluwabodin was also the what do you call it, chief accountant of National Bank. Yes, he was the chief accountant of National Bank. And so there was a
dispute
in the grapevine that it was jointly owned. You've heard that story before too.
Oh yes, that's why I asked about him, sir.
And they approached Lápérí, and Lápérí says no papers like that were left with him. Did they have any papers? She would allow any scrutiny of the house, any site of the house, and they never talked about anything like that to her. So I think the other party also built an estate somewhere not too far. You heard about that too?
Yes.
So we both know what we are talking about.
Yes, definitely. Then I wanted, in those days,
he was the man I gave the census figures.
Okay, wow.
He was the only man who asked. So he gave it to Awolowo.
Wow.
He was the one and single action group man who asked about the census. But the thing about the census that is very peculiar. That census, Babangida is a very good friend of mine, and he's a very great philanthropist. That's my son who went to Cambridge. We sent him to England for 6 years. He did.
Wow.
He gave the boy. He saw him once. He gave him what do you call this? University. Took a BS in Birmingham, Lambos University. Then an MSc. electronics and electrical engineering with management, and masters, and then you went to work with some companies which provide spare parts, sales of Miletus. You remember Tales of Miletus in Ezekiel Luasami's speech in Ife about the use of philosophy before Shudipo left for Agowori.
Onabanjo, Adebisi Onabanjo.
Not Adebisi Onabanjo.
University.
Shudipo.
Yes, he went to Adebisi Onabanjo. Yes, I remember him in Ife. Yes.
Yes. So, Show Lakweri made very good use of the proceeds. She built Elephant House.
Oh, they built the Elephant House. Oh, wow.
She built Elephant House from the proceeds of. She built Elephant House. I think it's 28 stories.
Wow. Nigeria was great. Yes, I wanted, finally on business, I wanted to ask if you knew much about the Ogbeni Oja, Adeola Odutola.
Yes, the Ogbeni Oja, Adeola Odutola. I knew a bit about him, but there were people who maligned him. They maligned him because of Awolowo. Awolowo approached him. You know, everything Awolowo had was auctioned before he could go to the Alaafin of Oyo. Had harshly treated, you know, field house in government college, HTC field. He in the army, he gave Awolowo a contract for Bodo and Ilubo to be supplied to the Royal West African Frontier Force. Awolowo went to the bank and borrowed money and got all the Bodo from Okeogun. He created a scarcity. There was no more Ilubo. So the Alaafin Ladibolu seized everything and gave him no compensation. His property had to be sold, and the few things his father had was shared by his uncles and his own personal effects. You will read from Awo's biography and rehashed by Jack, which is not a very good rehash. That his things were being auctioned. So some people offer to, he comes into good money. But Awolowo said no. This he was all right watching all his personal being sold. So they say from loan. And Ogbeni Oja asked the natural question, how will he return the money? So he couldn't answer that question. Any loan. But he came back to which Ogbeni Oja was a member. as well. So they all had to bow down to him at the time.
The power of education.
Eh?
I said the power of education.
Yes. So on that day, Panika, what do you call him? Ogbeni left politics. Rochimilem left politics. Many of them left politics and said they will not. And Nauru said what they were starting that day will have a long caution. J.S. Olawoyin of Ofa said what they were doing was Josiah said what they were doing was, and is bound to have very great repercussions. Those were the only two people who spoke against. But Ogbeni Oja, there's another episode. Ogbeni Oja gave me a very fantastic luncheon in which he called all his children. And he put my name on a plaque next to the girls' hostel, and where he buried his mother on one side, the girls' hostel, and on the girls' hostel he had my name for posterity to see. And he wrote me a very nice letter. Now, that's for Ogbeni Oja. Sunday, Odutola was my very good friend, and as well as Shubomi Balogun. He sacked his own son at the Tire Souls here. So we went to beg him, and he refused. He refused. But he gave us a concession. He said what he wants from the factory is profit. And he's not interested in just advancing his son or anything. He gave us the concession. Every profit that comes in, he will give him the amount he gives him at the present time. So he promised Sunday, and he kept his promise. He said he prefers another man's son to run it, make profit, and Sunday will get the profit. And then, you know what happened? He then went and sought a man. You know who the man is? The man was Ekwerokun, the registrar, assistant registrar in the University of Ibadan. So he put Ekwerokun as the manager of the Tire Souls. Ekwerokun make bags of profit. He gave Sunday his share. He called us when he was giving Sunday his share. Say Sunday, say boy, guys like him too much. So Ekwerokun ran the place very beautifully, and that was his style of business.
I thought there was another Jimo Odutola who was very big.
Who was Horatius' friend. When you are going from the bridge, you are going to the Ibadan Grammar School, you find a market where they sell hens, hawks, and two bridges. All that land, parcel of land on the right, was given to Jimo Odutola by Horatio, who was the boss of the Ibadan Native Authority. The local government under my father was a powerful one. He was treasurer of the council, and when you come to Ibadan, I will show you the Chob what do you call it? This place where they keep their money, the chop thing in the wall is still there. The conveyance, the room where they keep their conveyance of council properties, still there. Is the room Adedubu did not touch. To give you an idea of how powerful the local government was, they had their own police called the Accorders, who had
I remember the
cap.
Accorders.
They had a cap like the French cap. Then they were in charge of LA Waterworks. He was in charge of LA Waterworks.
Wow.
He was in charge of Adeoyo Hospital. Adeoyo Hospital, and he was in charge of Agodi Prison.
Wow. Were they the
ones
ones in control of Wole at the time?
Yes. Wole, LA Waterworks, Agodi Prison, the police. The police station was in fact near this, you know, where Mario has his Mario, the scan man who does scanning for women, and so all those together with the prison. So it was a real local government.
Not like now. Daddy,
not like now.
We've done about 2.5 hours. It's incredible. And we still have some distance to cover. I wanted you to speak about a myth linking Awolowo, Akintola, and Aderemi losing their children while they were very powerful at the time. What was the story?
The story is very sad. You know, today is 11th. Yesterday was unfortunately the 10th of July. Yesterday was the day Sheikh Awolowo died, the 10th of July.
Wow.
He was close to me. I chose him as a lawyer for a case where I was framed up. The case had not been determined. It was under Justice Abimbola, famously called Milord. Tall, light complexion, Ijebu Ode man, ladies man, Milord. On the 10th of July, 1963, 10th of July, the myth is that the 10th of July is the day Awolowo's eldest son died. Is the day also is the birthday of Akintola.
Wow.
So the first, it seems as if there was a compact with the three of them.
Aderemi, Brother
Aderemi was the first to die. He died at 39. He died at 39 only.
The first son of Oni Aderemi.
Or the first son of Oni Aderemi. He died at 39. And that was in 1962. Then the first son of Awolowo died on Akintola's birthday. Then the first daughter, the first child of Akintola also died. Each of the three of them lost their first child. But the more painful thing was that at Abanla, they were making a new road and they put drums to divide the road into two. And in such cases, they usually have if a red flag man at one end, a red flag man at the other end. But it was a bend. It was a bend. The red flag man at one, they put down their flags simultaneously. Only one flag man ought to have put down his flag. And so there was a head-on collision. Now, there was another myth. Sheikh Awolowo had some instruction from his one or both of his parents not to drive, and he wasn't driving. He wasn't driving. But Wale always drove himself. He never took a driver. I shared a flat with him in Abuja at the Confab and the TIC.
Wow.
And we shared words in the UCH too with each other. They were brought in there and then taken overseas. The second day that he came from overseas, he died.
Wow.
I was writing a column for Tribune, which nobody knew. I was writing Monday Think Tank, which everybody knew. Lekare, Laja Shuaga, and other people took Abiola to Ifene to get the old lady to persuade me not to write the Monday Think Tank again. But I was writing from my psychic feelings and the job Abiola had given me. Ladoja told me one could make money by going to collect the waste in Port Harcourt and using them to make candles. So I went to Abiola told me that. So I went to Ladoja later on to confirm. So on the day I went to Abiola, he said he had an assignment for me. He wanted me to write on his prospects of becoming the president or contesting the election. I said I was already on my way to Ibadan. He then booked a presidential suite for me in one of these Hebrews. What do you call them?
Federal Palace Hotel.
No, Hebrew.
Sheraton.
A presidential suite. And I worked through the night. And I worked like a scientist. I worked across the age group from 9 to 99. I worked with women, with men, with the educated, with the uneducated. And finally, I went to I consulted Chief Ajasin. I consulted the Ifa at Oyo. And lastly, I consulted the Ifa at Ife. The Ifa at Ife said that Abiola ought to have started his campaign at Ife. But he ended the campaign at Ife.
That's about Kwadeshiju Ade Olubushe II.
Yes. He ended at, and in fact, he was late.
He came very late, very, very late in the night. Yes.
You remember the day?
Oh, I remember. I have the pictures. I remember.
You remember Lai Balogun was there?
Ben, sir.
Lai Balogun, tó jáde everywhere.
They went into the temple.
Yes. Ifá yẹn, temple yẹn sì sọ pé yóò wọlé, ṣùgbọ́n wọn ò ní gbé fún. He will win, he will not be given the chance. Lai Balogun then said he had about 5 million, which we could propitiate
The oracle.
Then I remember what Shijuazi said, that he also has money. He doesn't know whether he has more or less than Lai Balogun, but he also has money. But this thing doesn't take money.
The oracle does not take money.
Yes. That their own oracle there doesn't take money. So that's where we left it. Then I worked on this thing, I dreamt, Abiola then gave me to another assignment. The same day, I gave him the result that one immediately. He said, I said, given, I wrote it like a geometrical thing, given to do so, any comment, result, as in geometry, you see, he will win, but he will not attain the post. So, reason, conspiracy.
Conspiracy.
To sign. I wrote them in half a page. One third of a page. He said I should sign. I said I don't want to sign. Because if I sign and he wins, I will be the first person to come to get a contract. And I accept my error and folly. He had given me money, large quantities of money before, without, so he will give me again foreign exchange.
Can we quickly go back, sir, to the Alaafin? Yes, sir.
You see, one thing is that the day I feared most was when I believed my dreams was we were going for swearing in. Every time we move near the swearing in place, the crowd congeals. we cannot move forward again. And then there was a hill before the Abuja airport that was always threatening to send us back. But one day, I saw a signboard in neon with mandate written on it. And after I had watched it broke into two.
Wow.
The first part was man. Date at about 2 a.m. It was easy to interpret. Man was Abiola. Date, June 12th. So I went quickly for my pen. Give us, that's the day I wrote, give us either Abiola or give us June 12th. And in the confab, that's what I said. Give us Abiola. And if you can give us Abiola, give us the date. And make it compulsory for them to appoint the Yoruba man. They got to Ikene. When they got to Ikene, the old woman had phoned me that she has some visitors and so on. They want this, they want that. So I locked my gate. There were two Frenchmen who were armed. When they got to my gate, they jumped my fence and came in and opened my gate. I had no objection. So they said they had gone to the woman. They said they ought to have come to me first. The woman told me that any day I write about that subject, the sales go up. So she said that she doesn't understand some of the things I write there. So she appointed somebody to be the reader of my column. So I say I write what I see. This man has given me 20,000 pounds sterling at the airport before, 30,000 dollars at the airport. He has given me a Mercedes.
MKO.
Yes. I wrote a Volkswagen to his house because of odd and even numbers. And I have too many cars. My office in science and technology, I am forced with 38 cars and 8 drivers. Well, I had a covert operation to perform on that night, so I took my
You took your Volkswagen.
My Volkswagen, so that nobody will identify me. And he said, "Ẹ̀gbọ́n, èèyàn ńlá ni yín o, kò sí nǹkan kan wájú ètí ọkọ̀ tẹ́ wọ̀ yìí o, ẹ̀yìn lẹ́yìn ẹ̀ wá o, tó bá kọlu yàn, wọn ò ní rí nǹkan kan ṣá o, kò ní rí nǹkan kan ṣá o, ní Mercedes ni mo ní mi ò ní Mercedes, mo ní ọkọ̀ tó, mo ní ọkọ̀ tèmi 4, mo sì tún ní ọkọ̀ ìjọba 38. Síbẹ̀síbẹ̀ ó yẹ kẹ́ ní Mercedes. Jẹ́ kọ́ ọmọ kan wá gbá. Then he gave me 20,000 check. The Mercedes 200 was 15,900 then.
Wow. Brand new.
Brand new. HS Adedeji, formerly Prime Secretary. mo ní dúdú ni mò ń fẹ́ tí àwọn mínísítà ń gùn yẹn ni Adédèjì ni wọ́n bá káńsù mínísítà jì wọ́n bá gbé ìkà fún mi.
Wow.
Ní òru mo máa ń lọ ṣé mo daṣọ bò máa wò bó bá ṣe wà ń bẹ̀. Nítorí I had no need for it.
Abiola scattered you completely.
Yes. Wọ́n á decide pé the best thing ni pé ẹnìkan Olúbọ̀dé ní kí n lọ fi ralẹ̀ lọ́nà Agége. Ẹnìkan ní Abiola lè lọ béèrè o pé ọkọ̀ náà ń kọ́ o. Ẹ má ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Tó ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ fún.
Oh my God.
Àkànní Àlùkò ó wá yẹ owó kan lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ ló bá rí Àkànní Àlùkò ní ọkọ̀ tó tóbi. Àkànní Àlùkò ló bá bí n pé mọ̀ pé kò lè fẹ́ ra bísínẹ́sì ilẹ̀ lẹ́fẹ́
ọkọ̀ lẹ́fowó rà.
ó lóun fẹ́ wọlé ìjọ náà.
Oh my God. Wow.
So man and date. But
you were involved in the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò saga. It's a story I would want you to speak to, sir.
You mean
for Abiola? Aláàfin giving Abiola the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò title at that time. There was opposition. There was opposition to it. It was already Bashorun of Ibadan land, and then the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò was added onto it.
Àwa náà tá a jà fún nìbàdàn nìyí. A jà fún nìbàdàn. We fought on his behalf in Ibadan. He gave them presents. All the obas, all the chiefs took the presents.
In Ibadan?
Yes, and a certain Oba, who was my father's assistant, a certain chief who was my father's assistant, then decided to oppose his appointment. This gentleman, who became Olubana later, accepted the president, Ashoke, and so on. The only man who did not accept the president was SOWEMIMO. And SOWEMIMO made sure that he voted first, and he voted for Abiola and returned all the presidents.
Integrity.
He was a noble man. I spoke to him this morning, his son this morning, Femi. You can imagine, as we say in Ibadan, an Ijebu man like Awolowo making a man the treasurer of the party. Laden was the treasurer of the action group. When an Ijebu man trusts a non-Ijebu to be the treasurer, know that the man
must be very good. Wow.
Very reliable man.
And the Femi later worked for MKO Abiola during our campaign.
And Femi got a seat in Lagos. He was a member of the House in Lagos. I say he was a member of the House. So, and now in Ibadan, he's in Ibadan politics, where his father was, you know, true. So the thing is, you know, the whole of this Ibadan, many people don't know, from Bakatari to what do you call it? IITA. The whole of the land once belonged to the Egba Okeona.
Egba of Okeono.
Yes.
Where you have Obatejo show now.
Obatejo show. Tó jẹ́ ọmọbìnrin. Àwọn Adémọ́lá Aláké ọmọbìnrin làwọn náà. Tí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ èèyàn ọmọ nìyẹn. So gbogbo alẹ́ àwọn Ẹ̀gbá kò mí ni. Àwọn ni wọ́n ní.
Kí ló ṣe fún yín, Daddy?
Àwọn ò ní bẹ́ẹ̀ kankan. Pé akànlé wọn lọ àkànkọ́ àwọn riffraffs jọ. We formed the town around Bako and we drove these people. Dúró de mí pọ̀ ṣòkòtò Ẹ̀gbá ń sá lọ.
Wọ́n ti gbalẹ̀ yín mọ́ yín lọ́wọ́.
Oh, the founder of Ibadan himself, Lagelu. Where I fixed Ajimabio when his father wanted to make a tailor. Lagelu Grammar School. Nobody denies that Lagelu is the founder of Ibadan. And that is from Ife.
Wow.
So, some people who are opposing, we attacked that man who became Olubadan. We attacked him very severely. And
who was the Olubadan at the time, sir?
Who
was it Ashanike or who was the Olubadan at the time?
Ashanike was the man, the most popular Olubadan.
Ashanike. Yes, Ashanike.
Ashanike was the most popular that we have had for the last 10 Olubadans.
It was very humorous. Very, very humorous. Arisekola Omajaka Atan, a common symbol.
Gómìnà tèmi ni kò sí ní tẹ́ ẹ lè ṣe sí OLUNLOYO ni gómìnà mi.
Wow. So there was opposition, or there was no opposition to Abiola eventually?
No, the opposition was murdered by us. I was for Abiola, Lamidi Adedibu was for Abiola. What do you call him? Gani Ajimabi was for Abiola. So he got it very easily.
But you had some incredible people in Ibadan. Busari Adelakun.
No. He never... you know he died in prison. He was poisoned.
They used to tell us that he used to carry a tortoise on his chest inside his agbada.
It's a lie. One day, when he joined, it's a lie. When he joined the MPN, and I still have that picture here, we were going on the campaign one day. The UPN, they were coming from Ukraine. We were going to Gomacho. When we got to that market, we had to sell small loaves of hot bread early in the morning. The UPN people were coming. We were going to Gomacho. And we were going to collide. We were in the same car. He said, Victor, I want to one bone. Kill our Chinese.
Eruba.
I had a bulletproof.
You were more practical.
Yes, I was more practical. A mini bulletproof. People in London, more bulletproof. So, so we go èmi ti bọ́ sí abẹ́ bábọ̀ àyà mo ti lọ.
Ẹyẹ ti fò lọ.
Ẹyẹ fò.
Ẹyẹ fò. Ìgídà ẹyẹ fò.
Jẹ́jẹ́ àtẹ̀lé mi. Tí wọ́n lẹ lóògùn ní Bólógún.
Alábàáhùn kò. Oh my God, this is nice.
Àti òun máa sáré tó báyìí. Kí ẹjọ́ lẹ rò pé sportsman ni mí ní school. Nígbà tí n rí ipò tí wọ́n
Oh my
yìnbọn
God.
ẹ̀rù kú bà mí pọ̀. Tí Awólọ́wọ̀ ń pè ní Shakespeare náà pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ní Shakespeare ní Hamlet níbi to be or not to be, that's the question. Well, a journey from whose born no traveller returns. You know the passage yẹn.
Nah, orí mi ò pé tó ti ń sà.
Ní kíní máa sọ ẹni Awólọ́wọ̀ máa ń pè ní àrèmábọ̀.
Àjò àrèmábọ̀.
Àjò àrèmábọ̀.
Journey of no return.
So èmi ti àwọn náà fẹ́ jẹ̀gbọ́n àjọ nǹkan wa. So
But between Adelakun and Baba Adedibu, who would you say wielded more influence in Ibadan politics?
Wide margin. By wide margin, Adedibu was more methodical, and he had a sense of humor. Adelakun really had no power or anything.
It was just the myth that he had juju.
No, Adelakun bragged a lot. He had no power on the ground.
Chief MK Abiola was so fond of Adedibu, Baba Adedibu. Why? What do you think was the bond between the two of them?
No, Adedibu was a pragmatic politician. Was a pragmatic politician.
I hope your battery is well charged, Daddy.
Yes. This is well charged.
Is this well charged? The battery?
Yes, it's charging.
It's charging. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
We lost your video now. We lost the video.
Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you, but the video is gone, sir.
Yes,
The video is gone. It's totally black. Okay, you are back now. Yes, you are back now. Yes, sir. You are back.
Very good.
Yes, we're talking about Adedibu and
Adedibu
Abiola.
No, anybody would like to associate with Adedibu. Adedibu was a practical politician. You know, he wrote a book. The last book he wrote. The last book he wrote was very interesting. It was like a thesis. He said, the book is what I saw of Adelabu. And the book is only about 20 pages. He said Adelabu left a completed house. Adelabu left an uncompleted house. And 40 pounds in the Barclays Bank. 40 pounds. He said, were it not for him, they would never have entered politics. It can be rightly said that he was the inventor. Adelabu was the inventor of grassroots politics. That was his conclusion in the preface. So he had a clear understanding of Adelabu's methods.
And he improved on it.
Yes. For example, if he had found somebody who's who was his boss, and they come to if an Awolowo person, for example, and he was an Awolowo man for some time, then he left, then he came back, comes to report a business deal that this Awolowo person has cheated him, he will refund the money to the man and then call the Awolowos. I say, Maboko Oga mi jẹ́ o, Maboko Oga mi jẹ́ o. Nítorí ṣe lóde o, ó ṣe wọ́n ni o. Ó ṣe wọ́n ni o. He preserves the aura of his leader.
Of his boss, yeah.
Boss.
Well, now back to Alaafin, sir. Because I know that you and Alaafin...
Don't go to Alaafin. He used to call himself Alaafin Malete.
Alaafin. That's why I wanted the story from the horse's mouth.
One day I questioned why he's calling himself Alaafin Malete, whilst my father was the first to build a residential house. Yeah. Why he's calling himself Alaafin Malete? 4 of his cows went into my compound, beginning to eat my flowers. So I confiscated the 4 cows.
That's Babade Dibu now.
Yes.
I know you were neighbors. Yeah.
No, but we got there 38 years before him.
You got there 38 years before him.
Yes.
And it became a dawn.
Yes. And I installed the Alaafin. Why? What right has it to say is Alaafin Malete? First of all, his 4 house assist for spoiling my garden. No, he said he will release 1. I said 1 is not enough. And then you must pay Shakole. So he sent 250,000 naira to me as Shakole.
As the landlord.
Yes, as the landlord of the place. And I content with being Oni of Malete. So he gave me Oni of Malete. I said, I reluctantly take it.
So he's the Alaafin, you are the Oni of Malete.
Yes,
the spiritual father.
250,000 and 1 cow.
And 1 cow. Well, it's a fair deal. It's a fair deal.
It's not a bad deal.
Plus the Oni title.
Yes. So he's a man with a sense of humor.
Wow.
They went and broke down Awolowo's image. You must have heard of it in front of Government House.
In front of it, yes, sir. At Agodi.
He had a hand in it. He had a hand in it. So Awolowo's children came and complained that he had a hand in it. So he caused the people. We could need that fún àwọn tó lọ wo èrè bàbá òun. The boys themselves are rascals. Wọ́n ní àwọn làwọn wo ọ̀gá àwọn ló sì rán àwọn iṣẹ́. Kò ní dá fún tó rán kò ní dá lọ́wọ́ tó rán àwọn iṣẹ́ káwọn wo.
Wow.
Ó dá iléèwé lẹ̀, àwọn ò lọ iléèwé, àwọn ń ṣe tọ́ọ̀gù. Wọ́n á ní káwọn lọ owó nǹkan, wá láwọn làwọn owó. Wọ́n ní physically, one is responsible for the destruction of the structure. So the man who conceived of the idea is the architect. They are just, laborers.
Amala politics.
Amala politics.
Wow.
So you are going to Alaafin for you.
Yes, now I want us to go to Alaafin for you. The history is, if you need some drink, Daddy, I don't know if you still drink red wine. I think it would be nice if you have a bottle handy. I don't know if you still do that. We used to do it together that day.
Yes, but I don't want to drink this morning unless I have the right kind of meat.
Of meat to
Yeah,
go with it.
meat.
Yes.
Red wines are very good. Especially the ones from Chile. They found that the ones from Chile are very good for the heart. They are
Chilean
very good
wine.
for.
Okay,
Then
I'm learning
the
that
red,
today.
then the red wines from California. If you want to send me any red wine, send the Chateauneuf du Pape from Chile, any Chilean red. Then
Wow.
Napa Valley, California, Napa Valley, the red from Napa Valley. They are very good.
Wow. Okay, I'm trying to look at what I have. Don't worry, we will get it, sir.
When you tell me the names, I will tell you what I choose.
Okay, sir. No problem. I'll send you a list.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so our Alafin saga. But I think you need a drink. Me, I've been drinking very hot water here, so I think you need a drink.
No, I don't need a drink.
Yeah, okay, because we've done over 3 hours now. I think you are going
Yes.
to break my world record today. My world
What?
record is 3.5 hours.
Yes. Yeah. Who has a glass there? BCB. There.
Okay. That's fine, sir. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I don't want us to lose it again. Oh, we've lost it. We've lost it. We've lost it. Okay, that's fine, sir. Yes, that's fine. Yes, the Alafin saga. The Alafin before the Alafin, if we can take it from there, there was a lot of politics. I'm not hearing you again, Daddy. Can you hear me, sir?
No, because I was not talking. Yes.
Yeah.
What you said was that they are laughing saga. They
Yes,
are
sir.
laughing before they are laughing.
Before the Alafin.
Yes.
What was the problem?
I will not describe it as they are laughing before they are laughing. It's more complex than that. The Alafin who was on the throne was Adeyemi II. He was deposed because of the Lloyd Commission and also because of the death of Bodito that was tenuously linked with it. So when that happened,
What was the problem, sir? Sorry, sir. Between Alafin II and Bode Thomas, because we had all kinds of superstitious tales.
There's authoritative material on that. There are two books one should get. One by Maje Kodumi, who was Bode Thomas' doctor. And the other one is by H.O. Davis, who was
H.O.
an
Davis.
stalwart. These two books contain 99% of what you want. I will supply the remaining 1%. The local government system began by making the natural ruler of every area the chairman of the local government. Then they came to electoral local government, where they would choose councillors as well as mayor. Mayor, they began mayor in Lagos, mayor of Lagos, then mayor of Enugu. The mayor of Enugu was an Hausa man, Umaru Altine. The mayor of Lagos was Olunloyo. After some time, they changed the head of the local government to an elected one. That's the time when Adelabu became the mayor of Ibadan. Adelabu with his 44 seats out of 46, an action group too. Now, what happened was, when the natural, it's a very simple thing, when the natural rulers were chairmen, when the councillors come in, when the natural ruler comes in last, that is the chairman, they all stand up. All the councillors stand up. When the system changed to an elected chairman, Bode Thomas was the elected chairman in Oyo, like Adelabu was in Ibadan. So Adelabu Bode Thomas went to the palace and said, Baba, nígbà tí ẹ̀ ń ṣe chairman, nígbà tí ẹ bá ẹ̀yin lẹ́ wọlé kàn yín, tí ẹ bá ti wọlé gbogbo ọ dìde fún yín. Ṣùgbọ́n ní ìsìn tẹ́ ẹ ti wà ń jókòó, ìjókòó là ń bá yín. Tí àwa tí èmi tèmi jẹ́ chairman tí n bá wọlé, ó yẹ kí gbogbo èèyàn tó bá wà nílé kí wọ́n dìde fún mi náà. Aláàfin ní Aláàfin Adéyẹmí II ní Aláàfin dìde fẹ́ni kankan. Ṣébí mi mo mú wá sórí wá ṣe politics lọ́yọ̀, ìwọ Akérèlé wọ́n ti ń pè Bọ̀dé Thomas Akérèlé àti John yẹn ni bàbá ophthalmologist tó wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ sẹ́ńlẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́. So ẹnìkankan dìde f'Aláàfin.
Àbí Aláàfin dìde fẹ́ni kankan.
Aláàfin dìde fẹ́ni kankan. Ní Bọ̀dé bá Thomas bá ní kò lè rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ láti máa dìde fún chairman mi. Ní kíní bá bínú kò, Bọ̀dé Thomas bá bínú kò láàfin. Bó ṣe bínú kò yẹn, ilé Alápinni No, you're missing. Lolo. Ìlú tó ń bẹ níwájú ilé Aláàfin wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí lùlù nílé Aláàfin. Olórí burúkú ó ń bọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ rẹ Alápinni. Olórí burúkú ó ń bọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ rẹ Alápinni. Alápinni ti get ready. Nígbà tó dọ́dọ̀ Alápinni greet ẹ̀ jovially. Kí ló wàá mú? Kí láfi ṣe ọ́ lálejò? A ní wàrà tó dáa, a sì ní omi tútù. Ìwọ ló ń fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Tí èèyàn bá jẹ wàrà, òǹgbẹ a máa gbẹ. Oníwàrà yẹn ni. But wàrà yẹn sometimes it contains tuberculin. Ó gba wàrà tó ní tuberculin nú. Ìmíì wọ́n máa ń dín inú epo pupa àbí òróró. Ló bá jẹ wàrà yẹn. Nígbà tó jẹ wàrà yẹn tán, ló bá ń ṣe kàùnkàùn láti ilé Alápinni. Wọ́n ti ránṣẹ́ fún ọkọ rẹ̀. Ọkọ̀ tó gbé wá láti Èkó wọn ò rí mọ́. Dráìvà tó gbé wá láti Èkó wọn ò rí mọ́.
Wow.
Ló bá ní kán fún un ní kit car council kan àti dráìvà kan. Àwọn ni wọ́n gbé lọ s'Èkó. Aláàfin ó monitor all the way. Wọ́n á wí pé dráìvà council tó wà lọ s'Èkó ó ní ó dúró níbì kan, ó lóun fẹ́ tọ̀. Lòun bá rí i pé òun ò dúró lójúgbó, òun dúró níbi tí àgbà wà. On stopping there, he went out of the ohun ò ṣáà lè sọ pé kọ́ ọ̀gá àwọn máa tọ̀.
Daddy, àwọn èèyàn fẹ́ ká sọ lóyìnbó torí we have a lot of people who don't speak Yoruba on the platform. Yes, sir.
All right. So he left Alápinni's house and he went in a kit car belonging to the council. His own car and his driver were nowhere to be found till today, 11th of July 2020. They were nowhere to be found. On his way, he said he wanted to urinate. And so the driver said it's not good for them to stop in the thick bush. He stopped at the nearest village, inhabited village. So he went into the bush and urinated a little bit, and he went further into the bush. So he raised an alarm and got the people in the bush to help him bring him back to the car. He succeeded in bringing him back to the car. He locked the 4 keys and he lay in the car until he got to Lagos. When he got to Lagos, Majekonimi said his mother and his wife were both at home. And so he told them that if anything happens to him, it must have happened to him at Oyo. They should send for Majekodunmi, his doctor, to come and. Majekodunmi, in his own book, said he took all the indices. He found he had a high fever. It looked like malaria, but he couldn't conclude. So he took some samples and tests and so on. And so he went to sleep, but every time he lay on the bed, he fell down. So he got in touch. His mother and his wife got in touch with Awolowo. And then they took him to Ijebu, found him that he had been poisoned.
Wow.
And they found he had been poisoned. Body Thomas was a very rich man. He was a very rich man. His family was very rich. They dealt in properties in England. And not only that, he had a quick education. Body Thomas qualified at the law. He graduated at 22. Became deputy leader of the action group in 52 at 30.
He was 30.
He was 30 when he was deputy leader of the action group.
Wow.
And he died at 34.
He died at 34.
34.
Wow. Wow. And his name still resonates till today.
Yes. So
wow.
His wife worked in Ibadan. When I was commissioner for education, his wife worked in the Ministry of Education under Mrs. Alakidia, who was, no, not under Mrs. Alakidia, Mrs. Ademola, Adetokunba Ademola, who was the first woman, first Nigerian to attend, to graduate from Oxford.
Wow.
Oxford, 1935.
Wow.
The year I was born.
Kai.
And Mrs. Ademola told us that our family was originally from North Carolina. If you look at her face now.
The returnees.
Yes, from North Carolina. What is the name of the street on which the national what do you call it, theater is?
Oh, in how can I forget? Eric Moore.
Eric Moore.
No.
She was Miss Moore.
She was Miss Moore, okay.
Was Miss Moore. So
wow. But so it's not true that he was barking like a dog.
They said he backed though when they poisoned him. But they stopped all that at Ijebu.
Oh, Ijebu, he was treated through local medicine in Ijebu.
Yes, yes.
Wow, that's my father-in-law's place.
Where your wife comes from?
Comes from, yes. I didn't know they are that strong.
You didn't know? Okay, okay.
Okay, Agbo. They are from Okay, Agbo. Omaro Shubo. Abashokutu Berry. Wow.
So,
wow.
He was killed.
I see. But he died later.
Then in a few days, he was in Jebugo. They saw the Alafin's car. The Alafin had traced him to Jebugo.
Oh, they still pursued him. They didn't forgive him.
Yes. The Alafin had traced him to Jebugo and said they were worried. Nobody heard of him. And after intense scrutiny, they found this. They came to greet him, and so on and so forth. So they left him.
Wow.
They probably left him with some incantations or something.
A few
Anyway, that
incantations.
they left him there.
Wow.
There was a cricket match. I was the secretary of the University Cricket Club. I cancelled the cricket match unilaterally, and I attended his funeral. Church in Lagos at Broad Street, African church.
The African church.
Yes, that's where he was buried.
Wow.
That's
We
where
don't know our history. We don't know our history.
That's where the service was held. There was a crowd.
I can imagine.
There was a crowd. But
So that now led to the deposition. Sir? I said that now led to the deposition of the Alafin II.
Yes. Then they accused the Alafin. They set up a commission of inquiry. Lloyd's did not come to any conclusion. But there was some riot in Oyo, and they blamed it on the Alafin. Later on, when we became what we became, commissioner in charge of the files, the governor, and so on, we saw the colonial office then sent 4 spies to know what was really happening. Out of the 4, they sent 7 spies. 4 said from their measurement in the town, 4 wanted they were to interview the Oyomisi, who are 7. 4 wanted his return, the return of the banished Oba, and 3 were against. But the governor here exercised, what do you call him? Not Sergeant Rankin, Rotimi Williams virtually rewrote. Rotimi Williams virtually rewrote the report.
Wow.
The government cannot stand around and look at and allow, violence and treachery to reign over them. So, in any white paper, we accept this, we don't accept this, we accept this, we don't accept this. We have come to the conclusion that the man must be called a meeting of the House of Chiefs, headed by Ade Soji Aderemi. Then they came to the conclusion that the man should be banished. He was first banished to Ilesha, which was an NCNC stronghold.
Territory, yes.
Yes. Then he was banished to another town. Then he was eventually banished to Lagos, another NCNC town. And he was, that's where I got to befriend John, who is an Oyo man, who sent his son to St. Gregory's. Who sent his son to St. Gregory's where he got a grade 1 in school certificate. So that was how the story went. But the two books, one of them was stolen, but I'm getting it back next week. The one of, I'm sorry, the one I have is autographed, but I'm going to get it without autograph now. That's from my boss, Mike Kudun. The other one I have, yeah. It only Kiara did the one is where I said they are not to when it comes in. So that's how. So the next thing that happened was that a new Alaafin was appointed, Ladibolu.
Wow.
His son was a very bright boy, very, very bright. He attended government college. At the same time with Fagua.
Dio Fagua.
Dio Fagua's son.
Oh,
And,
but that Dikpo, but that Dikpo, that must be that Dikpo.
They were very bright. They were mascots. In cricket, they were mascots.
Wow.
They were clever. And something was established in government college. There were boys, junior boys, who were in some subjects cleverer than senior boys. And vice versa. There were, there were boys who were just, we considered it to them. Nobody was nobody was as bright as Alachi Adra in biology. And he got a first-class honors, BSc London, or Danawe in physics. Or way in biology. So that was how. One interesting thing is that you remember Chirinka's famous play, the one that played a big part in his Nobel Prize.
Yeah, Death and the King's Horseman. Death and the King's Horseman. Death and the King's Horseman. Yes.
You will notice one of the qualities of that book is that you have various forms of language used. Pure Yoruba was used. Oxford English was used. Broken was used. In the mouth of Mr. and Mrs. Pilkins. Abi Pilkins. That Pilkins.
Yes, the OMOLOLU culture.
Yes.
Abobaku.
Abobaku. So okay deal. You see there?
The district officers.
Yes. You see there? So Mr. and Mrs. Pilkins, the Yellow Day, all of them are still. But what I like about Death and the King's Horseman is the variety of language, the variety of uses.
Very deep. I said very deep. Very, very deep.
Very deep. English is not one English, as Banjo would say. Banjo.
In fact, Daddy, you have broken my record. My record was 3.5 hours on Instagram Live. Now we've crossed that record. And I would want us, because I don't know if Instagram will allow us beyond 4 hours. Normally it's 1 hour, but so far they have left us to continue. So the story of stories is your involvement in politics and how you became governor in 1983. If we can start the story of your politics with MPA and how you were able to defeat Bola again It was alleged that the election was rigged and all that. So maybe today you can lecture us on that momentous and monumental occasion.
Yes. To start with, the interesting thing is that I was not even interested in any election. And parallel to that statement, Bola Ige was not a candidate for the governorship of Oyo State. Ijesha area was regarded as solidly NCNC. And so his name did not come up at all. The man who was to be made, what do you call it? The gubernatorial candidate was somebody else. Chief Awolowo wanted Alayande to be made the candidate. Now I visited the man you know very well, Morakinyo. I visited Morakinyo in December 79 was the then 80. I visited Morakinyo in 81 December. So I said, Morakinyo, you are the Minister of Finance. You stayed in my father's house before. Congratulations, you are the Minister for Money and so on. So what? So we joked and everything. When I was going, he then asked me a question. He said, "Am I interested in politics?" I said, "Well, to some extent, yes, I am. I used to carry Adilabu's bag all around Okolo. And whilst we were living in Moyabo in his house." He said, "Because there is something about me that they fear." That's why I said, "Morakinyo, what do you fear?" Well, he said everywhere they went, December 81, not 82, December 81, that they said I will be the next governor. Morakinyo is still alive.
Wow.
Morakinyo is still alive. He's alive.
I know.
And you know where? In Ibadan.
In Ibadan, yes.
Near that blood bank. So Elizabeth, you know where he lives? In you know his office, you know his house in Ibadan.
Yes, it's very close to my uncle, Chief Ezekiel Fatoye. They are very, very close. Yes, they are very close. Nitel fame. Of the Nitel. Yes, he used to be in Nitel.
So he said, so I said, "Look, I'm coming to Ibadan in another 2 weeks. Find something good. Find a good president for me and so on." When I came the second time, he said, "No, that thing that I took as a joke, that is it's not a joke. All the marabouts that they insulted said I was the next governor of Oyo State." No, I said, "Look, I'm not here about the Alafas and the and the pastors whom you consult. I want some cake, some slice of the national cake, very thin." So he said, no, he was very serious. He said, "I will contest and I will be the winner." I said, if you people insist, then I will contest. If you insist, I will contest. So, but I was a civil servant when I was talking to him. So I went and joined the MPN. Ward 9, Kudeti. Chairman, Akande. So, then I became what do you call it? An aspirant. But my being an aspirant was kept secret. It was kept secret. There were 11 candidates in Ibadan. 2 in Ogbomoso, 1 in Ibarapa. So making, is that not 2 plus 11 plus 13 or something? The candidate for Ibarapa was Ogundoyin.
Adeseun Ogundoyin.
Adeseun Ogundoyin.
Adeseun.
The one, Adeseun Ogundoyin. The 2 in Ogbomoso were Saka Balogun and Latunji Mohammed. The 11 in Ibadan consisted of Akande, of the what do you call it? The radio station, Splash radio station.
Plus, yes.
1, 2, Akinele. 3, the man in who brought this girl who died. The girl who from Agbo, whom married eventually.
Oh, Caroline.
Caroline, you know she
Caroline.
died.
Oh, yes, I did a story just 2 weeks ago, yes. The children got in touch with me from London. Yeah, she was buried in London just about 2-3 weeks ago. She's been buried, yes, she's been buried.
That's Lifa. Or Lifa. Lifa is the man I'm referring to.
Yes, they are giving us... Okay, go on, sir. I think they are giving us 1 hour. I hope it's 1 hour, 43 minutes.
Yes, so...
This thing might go off. If it goes off, Daddy, I will log in again, and then we'll start again. Yes, because I would want to post. Yes, it might go off in 1 minute 23 seconds. So if it does, I will come back immediately. Yes.
All right. So the thing was that we then decided on a strategy in Ibadan. We had what was essentially an unconstitutional primary.
Daddy, let's go off so that we can have a proper account of it, because we have only a few seconds left. They've tried. They've given us about 4 hours, which is fantastic. I'll be back.